everybody, and welcome back to Base Camp. Today we're going to be looking at Job chapter 4. Today we're going to be looking at the first part of the response of Eliphaz to Job. First passage is Job chapter 4, verses 1 through 4. Then Eliphaz the Temanite replied to Job, "Will you be patient with me and let me say a word? For who could keep from speaking out? In the past you have encouraged many people. You have strengthened those who were weak. Your words have supported those who were failing. You encouraged those with shaky knees. But now when trouble strikes, you lose heart. You are terrified when it touches you. Doesn't your reverence for God give you confidence? Doesn't your life of integrity give you hope?" Okay, and that's Job chapter 4, verses 1 through 6. Job's friend is basically saying, you have encouraged others in the past, but yet when you face the same troubles, you are faltering. And in reality, even when we have encouraged others, sometimes it's hard to see it when we're the ones in the fire, and we need people to remind us. It can be hard to see that when you're the one in the middle of it. It's one of those things where, on the outside looking in, that's why it's always good, ideal, to get outside perspective. Looking at the next passage in this chapter is Job chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. Stop and think. Do the innocent die? When have the upright been destroyed? My experience shows that those who plant trouble and cultivate evil will harvest the same. A breath from God destroys them. They vanish in a blast from his anger. The lion roars and the wild cat snarls, but the teeth of strong lions will be broken. The fierce lion will starve for lack of prey, and the cubs of the lioness will be scattered. Eliphaz goes on in this passage to say, are those who are innocent, do they reap trouble? And there is some truth to this. In Galatians chapter 6, verses 7 through 10, don't be misled. You cannot mock the justice of God. You will always harvest what you plant. Those who live only to satisfy their own sinful nature will harvest decay and death from the sinful nature. But those who live to please the Spirit will harvest everlasting life from the Spirit. So let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. Therefore, whenever we have opportunity, we should do good to everyone, especially to those in the family of faith. So there is a grain of truth to what Eliphaz is saying. You will more than likely reap what you sow, although that's not always the case. Sometimes, like in the case of Job, Job did nothing wrong. And all of these problems are from sources outside of himself. While it is true to an extent, that's not always the case, and we need to be careful when we start pointing at people and saying, you're reaping what you've sown. Because maybe they haven't sown that. Moving on to Job chapter 4, verses 12 through 17. This truth was given to me in secret, as though whispered in my ear. It came to me in a disturbing vision at night. When people are in deep sleep, fear gripped me, and my bones trembled. A spirit swept past my face, and my hair stood on end. The spirit stopped, but I couldn't see its shape. Therefore, there was a form before my eyes. In the silence I heard a voice say, "Can a mortal be innocent before God? Can anyone be pure before the Creator?" And that's Job chapter 4, verses 12 through 17. What Eliphaz is saying is that at night a vision gripped him and he shuddered in fear. This is a little dubious, but what was brought up was that no human can ever be innocent before God, which there is some truth to that. We are fallen beings, and there's no way we can be 100% innocent before God in and of ourselves. This is pointed out in Romans chapter 3, verse 10. As the scripture says, no one is righteous, not even one. So there is a grain of truth to what Eliphaz is saying, that no one is righteous before God. And no one is innocent before God. So in all this, there is, again, a drop of truth in what is being said. So moving along to the last section in this passage, which is Job chapter 4, verses 18 through 20. If God does not trust his own angels and has charged his messengers with foolishness, how much less will he trust people made of clay? They are made of dust, crushed as easily as a moth. They are alive in the morning, but dead by evening, gone forever without a trace. Their tent cords are pulled and their tent collapsed. They die in ignorance. So this last portion is basically saying, if God doesn't trust his angels, who are there with him in eternity, trust a human who is made of dust and is there 1 minute and gone the next. So in all of this, there is some truth to this, and that's the most hurtful part, is it's almost twisting that truth to be used against Job. And many times, well-meaning people will inadvertently twist scripture to be hurtful. And a lot of them are not necessarily meaning to be hurtful, but we need to be very careful that we are handling scripture correctly and that we aren't twisting it to our own ends, because God will hold us accountable for every word we say. So we need to be, when we use scripture to rebuke someone, we need to be very careful that we are being accurate and truthful, both to the meaning of the scripture as itself and the situation that the person is in. Because it's easy to come in and try and swoop in and have all the answers, and that's oftentimes not necessarily our job. We should seek to comfort people and build them up. So, in the next session, we will look at Job chapter 5 and finish up in Eliphaz's speech. So, we'll see you next time, and God bless.